Minnie is running around the sports ball court yet again, doing more laps. I'm still not strong enough to train with her. Tammy peers suspiciously at the sky, her big ears twitching. The air is different here, she pouts. We've never lived somewhere where air can be too dry or too wet or too hot or too cold. It's almost as if this planet is alive. She shudders. That is a scary thought. I mean, isn't it though? Cal crouched beside a big puddle. Ah, yes, you're happy about rain again. I do not have enough biology to tell you a fact. Or bravery to dare you to eat a worm. And Mars is still up here waiting for me to be, what? Persuasive. And I'm not that either. I am smart. Life sciences.
You're a mechanic.
This week in biology class, you're learning about predators and prey. Professor Hal brings up a picture of a hop-eye on the holoprojector and asks, "Who can tell me what special thing hop-eyes do when they see a predator?" Tang's hands shoot up. They hop away very quickly. That's why we call it a hop-eye. Hal nods. That's true, but not what I was getting at. Tang stammers and looks upset, like she can't believe she got something wrong. Hal scans the class again. Anyone else? Fish? They, fly away? I do not know. Come on, Fish, think about it, Hal says encouragingly. You could at least try to guess. You give him a blank look. They thump their feet to warn other hop-eyes in the area, he says. They're very communal animals. You look over to see Tang smirking at you. You both got it wrong, but she still thinks she's better than you.
Did you lose friendship with her on that?
I hope not.
I thought I saw the heart with the X over it.
Oh, I hope not. Mm-hmm.
I will say one thing about a future person you meet that is at some point a dog boy, and he does like it when you give him sticks.
That's adorable.
Those mushwood logs.
Yeah.
That you give them.
I see. Well, until I meet him, I will continue to use them because that was a beautiful use of one.
No more information on the dog boy. But I simply thought you might want to know that in case you ever wish to stop them.
What's the next one? 40? Okay. Tangent looks up at the sky and shades her eyes. It's too bright, she complains. And it's too hot, and nights are cold. Living on the stratospheric meant we never had to experience discomfort. Remind me why we aren't putting our resources into repairing the ship. Of course. I'm just wandering around talking to people and going to school and being a good studious bean. Hi, Dad.
Who's in the stream?
I'm not sure. If anyone is, they're just kind of vibing around.
You have a couple viewers, but I'm not sure who they are.
They're not talking.
No.
Most people don't during stuff like this.
That's fair.
A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony.
I might go set up my own interest for that.
Okay.
But I'll keep the stream on because I get
Okay. I
You
love
have a
you.
very soft voice.
so much.
Thank you.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, I love you. Good night, my love. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and medbay. You know the route to your classroom well, but the rest of the wing is off limits to children. Oh, this is just the normal thing. That's right. What did I do last month? Engineering? No, it's the engineering this month.
At some point, you should play my favorite game.
Of course.
It's called What Remains of Edith Finch.
I will.
Yes. You know that game. It's my favorite game. I've played that game more times than I care to admit. It's very story driven. I think you would really enjoy it.
Well, I'll need a list of these because I think I'm going to be doing them more often. You learn about some of the fantastic technology that they have on Earth, but the colony couldn't bring with them. At least you brought all the plans and knowledge that you could. Maybe someday you'll be able to recreate them here on Vertumna, or come up with your own incredible technology. Gotta get to 10. 0, 1, 2. Oops. 0. Actually. Oh, I hope. For loud noise. Oh, just close my door. It should be alright.
Don't forget to pick you up for work on Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
What time do you want?
Okay. And also the address.
The days have been getting shorter, with only the yellow sun barely skimming the horizon. One morning you wake in the darkness and have to check your holopalm to know what time it is. You see a holostream from Mars. Good morning to all my pals, if you can even call it morning. They've named it glow season because, like, everything is crazy glowing out there in the dark. I am staying the heck inside for the next month. What is the point of even going out if you can't see anything? It is going to be a long, boring month. Sorry, chat. Dogs got a little riled up. No way, it looks so cool out there. You peek out the window. The wormhole is the biggest you've ever seen it, like a massive fiery ring in the sky. The planet must be very close to it now. And out in the jungle, something new is taking place. The plants are flowering, glowing, iridescent blooms, and everything is full of life. There are strange new sounds, long hooting calls and gurgling roars. After Mars' message is a notice from the council, warning everyone to stay safe inside. Tammy's dad and the other surveyors have been called back and the gates closed for the month. There's a tension in the air as if everyone is waiting for something. Late wet. Into the glow. Hi, Anemone. No? Okay. That's it then, huh? Yeah, it's time to relax. I think that's good. I'll relax for this month. You look around the lounge. Some friends are here. Who do you want to hang out with? Tangent is quietly reading her holopalm. You plop down beside her and ask what she's reading. Multicellular biology, she says, frowning at the interruption. If you insist on sitting near me, you should at least do it quietly. No problem. You open up your holopalm and find a textbook of Old Earth poetry to read. It's never a bad idea to do a little independent study. Though she's a little prickly, you can tell Tang appreciates the company. The endless dark of glow season must be getting to you. All week you've been having nightmares. Something is coming. Something bad is about to happen. A dreadful mantra repeats in your head. You've hardly even surprised when the emergency sirens start up. You peek out at the gates. Yes, they should be closed, but they're open. Just as you dreamed, or remembered, but the details are foggy. There were monsters. The closest assembly point is the children's crash. But from the opposite direction you hear shouting and loud popping noises. Gunfire. Is the colony under attack? We hide. You find Dis and Tammy in the crash. Tammy gestures for you to crouch under the table next to them, and takes your hand fearfully. The lights are dim. Are you scared? Tammy asks quietly, her eyes wide and tearful. Of course I'm scared. You comfort Tammy, who cries softly while you wait for it to be over. She's worried about her dad, Tonin, the head surveyor who's working the gate when it started. You grew up here. It feels weird to be hiding here, like you're just little kids again. You hear more gunfire and yelling, and within half an hour, they play the all-clear tone. Tammy's dad, Tonin, is first through the door as the lights come back on. He gives Tammy a huge hug, and she bursts into tears again. You're relieved when your parents arrived with an ashen-faced Cal. They won't talk about what happened at Geoponics. After 2 weeks of darkness with the blue sun barely skimming the horizon, it begins to move higher in the sky and daytime returns. The council admits they don't know how the gates were opened or how the creatures got in. Some of the attacking creatures were once thought to be docile. Others were species nobody had seen before. It was like something had driven them to assault the colony. At least nobody was killed. This time. Early quiet. Childhood is fleeting. The game will end when you reach age 20, so you should focus on a few skills to improve and friends to spend time with. Use the Skills and Friends button at the top of the left of the screen to keep track of them. Good luck. You are 11 years old, and your extra fingers come in handy. Get it? Handy. You're smart and intuitive sort of way, and you got good grades in engineering class. Start age 11. Tammy is at the door of the lounge holding a tray of freshly baked sweets. Oh, fish, she exclaims, handing one out to a passing child. You're just in time to try my new soy sweet flavor. She places one in your hand. It's still warm and slightly squishy. Mars yawns as you approach, making no attempt to hide it. It's so boring here. I just want to watch holovids all day and all night. Why would I bother sleeping? It's not like I need to save my energy for anything, she sighs. I wish I were in a holovid. Then maybe something interesting would happen. Hi, Holy, welcome in. Cal is leaning on the garden fence, looking out at the colony. That attack was awful, he says quietly. I did something I'm not proud of, and people still got hurt. He sniffles and rubs his face. All the adults tell me that it's okay because I had to do it, that I was brave, and I protected the colony, but I don't want to hurt anything, not even a monster. Poor baby. Poor baby Cal. Nothing new from Tonin. Nothing new in the bestiary. This is perched up on a big rock, silently watching the forest. He barely moves as you approach. The longer you look, the more you see, he says cryptically. Anemone rolls a bobber fruit down her arm and flicks it to you with her elbow, then munches down on one of her own while she watches the construction crews work the walls. Kinda cool, huh? She says. Soon this place is gonna look like a real colony. Tangent is standing still with her face held up to the sky, letting the blue snowflakes land on her cheeks as they melt almost immediately. She doesn't move as you approach. After a minute, she winces and rubs her eyes. It stings, she says, because it's made of acid. Acid? Snow? Tag nods. Professor Hal says it isn't harmful, and it's an important part of a natural cycle here. It freezes at 12 degrees Celsius and turns to tiny crystals that are so heavy they fall from the clouds. You can see them under a microscope. She sticks her tongue out and lets some of the flakes fall on it. It tastes kind of sour, but sweet, she observes. Fascinating. Tang pulls the sample jar out of her coat. We know what it's made of, but our understanding is incomplete, she says. and places the jar on an outcropping of rocks. The big mushrooms changed in shape and color before the snow began to fall. I wonder, is there some sort of signal that precedes the changing of the seasons? What happens if I expose samples collected in dust season to snow from quiet season? A small excited smile creeps across Tang's face. There's so much to learn about this planet. I can't wait. Time to go be a studious student and study the studies. This week in biology class, you're studying sugar bugs. The native species look like purple marshmallows, about the size of your fist, all puffy and squishy and kind of cute. They don't move or do much, but if you tickle them, they exude an edible syrup from a hole at the top of their bodies. And now, says Professor Hal, you're going to dissect one. Dissect that cute little sugar bug. You're given a, thankfully, already deceased sugar bug to work on. The moment your scalpel slices it open, a horrid smell assaults you. Sweet, like rotting fruit. Yuck. You see Tang trying not to gag too. Biology challenge! As you get older, challenges can have conditions. The challenge suit determines what conditions can appear and what decks will work best. Try to collect social yellow cards if you want to win battle for social skills, empathy, persuasion, creativity, bravery. Cool. Woohoo! You carefully section your sugar bug into 6 discrete organs. You take a photo with your holopalm and carefully fill in labels for all the parts. That's pretty good, Tang says, peeking at your work. These things are slipperier than I was expecting. Parts of mine are still moving. Great job, class. Now we're going to leave them overnight, says Professor Hal. The next morning, your class is in for a surprise. Sugar bugs are alive again, and there are more of them. Your teacher explains that their DNA is so malleable that almost any part of a sugar bug can turn into any other part if it needs to. The resulting sugar bugs are smaller, but will eventually grow into full-sized ones. Autumnum biology is weird. So much has happened in the last month since the monster attack during Glow. The idea of this planet as a peaceful utopia has been shattered. The security squads are training new members and keeping close watch on the gates now. They're reinforcing the walls and even installing a few robotic turrets. In class, you have drills on what to do if the colony is attacked again. In all the excitement, you forgot today was your birthday. Your parents haven't forgotten. They wake you up early with enthusiastic shouts of surprise! A Autumnum year is only a little longer than a year on Earth, so you've taken up its calendar for birthdays. Yours is in the second month of quiet. Spark now drifts slowly past your porthole window as you snuggle up with your dad. Your mom climbs up too and sits on the edge of your bed. Your dad pulls out a bowl of fruit from behind his back with a flourish, like a magic trick. It looks like blue bobber fruit, which you've found growing nearby. Bobber fruit, your dad confirms. The foragers have been picking these just outside the walls. They might look funny, but they're tasty, don't you think? You take a cautious bite. The pulp is soft and tastes a bit like a lemon, only more blue. I bet you can't wait to join the surveyors out there, your dad says wistfully. Who knows what else you'll find? Fish is not allowed outside the gates, your mom interrupts, her voice sharp. It's too dangerous for kids. Well, I know, but eventually, your dad says, but your mom cuts him off again. But not now, your mom replies. Not since the attack. Not with everything we know is out there now. The attack was scary. Your dad hugs you close. Don't worry, Tomato. Don't worry, Tomato Head, he says warmly. We'll keep you safe. Your mom reaches over and pats your leg awkwardly. I know it's scary, but if you do as you're told during emergency drills, you'll be okay. Nothing is going to hurt you kids while we're around. You'd like to believe them, but you've seen the colony fall. In your dreams. How long will it be until those visions become real? Even still, your mom says, it's clear that everyone should know how to defend themselves if it happens again. To be clear, this includes knowing when to run away, your dad adds. Security Chief Rhett is offering self-defense lessons at the garrison, you know. Even for kids, if you're interested. You should drop in sometime. Your mom gives you a stern look. And I've heard stories of kids sneaking outside the walls, she says, grimly. If I catch you doing that, I'm going to put a chip in your ear. You laugh. What a good joke. Your mom doesn't laugh. What? Me? Never. Yeah, you better never, your mom retorts, crossing her arms. I'm a good, studious kid, Mom. Thank you very much. I've been going to school like a good little bean. Everything is fine. How's my reasoning looking? 28. Yikes. I need more school. It's a pity, Tang says, looking at you with barely concealed disdain. I once thought you had the promise of an intellectual equal, but you've let yourself become distracted. Have I now? Anemone holds her palms up to you excitedly. Fish, look! Her palms are covered with a collection of scrapes and blue flaky scales. I'm getting tougher every day. You don't see Dis at first, but you do hear rustling, followed by the screech of metal on metal. After a few minutes of looking, you spot Dis placing large rocks in front of a piece of corrugated metal leaning against the wall. He stops and looks at you. You didn't say anything, he says, going back to covering up his tracks. Cal is scrubbing his hands at the water barrel, trying unsuccessfully to get all the dirt from under his fingernails. It looks like a lost cause. Cal's hands have been dirt-stained probably since he landed here. Stupid, Cal mutters. Stupid. Ugh. He jerks his hands out of the water and holds them to his face, and you hear him sob. Why did they have to? It's not fair. We didn't do anything to them. He wipes his eyes and startles when he sees you. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there, he says. I was just, washing my hands. Poor Cal. I need to learn more biology to make you feel better. Mars is leaning over a holoscreen, chin in hand. She exhales and blows a piece of hair out of her eyes. I hate schoolwork, she says. But my dad's told me that a good education is necessary for all people of culture, so I guess I gotta do it. She scrolls listlessly through her work with one finger. I'm doing the science part last, though. Tammy is sat at the floor of the lounge, holding a tray of freshly baked sweets. Oh, I read that one already. Okay, biology time. You're bringing supplies to medbay when you see something unusual. Tangent, curled up on a bench. Her head pillowed up on a rolled-up lab coat. She's fast asleep. You stop and stare. You never see Tang sleeping. She's always so busy. You're surprised she even has time to sleep. You turn to leave her in peace when you bump into Anemone. Whoa, Anemone says. She hardly ever sleeps. Like just a couple hours a night. Is she sick or something? You look back at Tangent, snoozing peacefully. I'm so jealous of her genetic enhancement, Anemone says, rubbing at one of the scales sprouting on her jawline. She hardly needs to sleep at all. She probably stayed up all night studying for this morning's history test. Shh, let her sleep. Tang's hollow palm beeps a soft alarm. She sits up and stretches, looking totally refreshed and alert. She sees you watching her and looks annoyed. Just a power nap, she says. No reason to gawk. There we go. Okay, I think it's time to rest. Tammy is sitting in the lounge, quietly looking out the window at the colony. Everyone is so busy doing important things, she remarks. Working in the creche is pretty hard work, but Auntie Sita makes it look so easy. It almost feels like playing. Mars is watching her hollow screen intently. She shushes you before you can get a word in. They're about to kiss, Mars hisses, barely giving you a second look. You're looking a little worn out, my little firefly, your dad greets you, looking concerned. You know, despite what your mom might say, there is such a thing as too much work. Maybe some R&R over in the lounge would help recharge those solar cells. What do you say? Maybe I just need a hug. Your dad throws his arms wide. Well, get in here, tiger butter. After a long hug, you do feel a little better. Your dad gives incredible hugs. Cal is leaning on the garden fence, looking at the colony. That attack was awful, he says quietly. I did something I'm not proud of, and people still got hurt. You poor baby. Do you have anything for me? No. And Anemone. Anemone has her mouth wide open to the sky, catching flakes of the weird snow that drifts from the sky. Tangy, she giggles. Get it? Tangy? Like tangent. That's what we used to call her. Do you remember? That's adorable. Life sciences. Today in class, you're studying genetic enhancements. Nearly everyone in the class has one, chosen for them by their parents before they were born. And it's all thanks to gene tech, Hal exclaims. Isn't it amazing? The people of Earth almost never had access to this stuff, and we have all the equipment right here in our little colony. Looking around the class, you see an incredible array of genetic modifications. Animal features, enhanced sensory organs and the like, and there's much more that you can't see. Come on, don't be shy, Hal says, spreading his palms wide. What sort of things has old Instance been able to do in her lab? Feel free to share, if you have one that people can't see. Most kids share their genetic enhancements, if they have them. Temperature doesn't bother me, Cal answers, when it's his turn. I'm never too hot or too cold. I'm always just right. Someone jokes that Cal doesn't sweat. That explains why he smells like flowers and sunshine all the time. Tang keeps quiet and skips her turn to share. I love how Cal smells. Cal sniffs his own armpit and laughs. Like flowers? I guess a little, he says. I think I smell like being outside. You lean in and take an exaggerated sniff of Cal. Ooh, you like how he smells. He giggles and shoves you playfully away as you stuff your face into his shirt and breathe deeply. Plants and flowers and just a little bit like soil. He smells like Vertumna. Early pollen. If Tang paid you any less attention, she'd be flat out ignoring you. Can I help you? Mars is dancing along the music coming through her earspeed, working through the steps of a complicated dance routine. When she turns around and sees you watching, she shrieks and gestures to turn off the silent music. Fish, she scolds you. I'm practicing for this year's Vertumnalia. Don't you dare steal my moves. Eggy. You're looking for Cal in the garden when you nearly trip over someone else, one of the younger kids, and they're blindfolded? Hey, they exclaim, ripping the blindfold off their face and throwing it to the ground. It's Sirius, one of Anemone's brothers. He glares at you. I was almost done. Cal jogs over and grabs Sirius in a friendly headlock, ruffling his messy red hair. Dude, you were so close. Sirius stamps his feet and complains that complains that you got in his way. It's not their fault, Cal says. They didn't know we were playing a game. Give me a sec. I want to teach them how to play. Cal turns to you as Cyrus leaves. Sorry, Fish, he says sheepishly. I was teaching Cyrus a new game, but he's more like Anemone than I thought. Real competitive, you know? He stoops to pick up the blindfold, brushing off the dirt. I've been trying to come up with different kinds of games other than sports ball, he says. No winners or losers. I just want to have fun with my friends. Cal looks at you hopefully. Did you want to learn how to play? Let me check my schedule. Yes. Cal's smile looks like it's going to stretch right off his face. Radical, he shouts, jumping up and down with excitement. Okay, so first put on this blindfold. The blindfold is a little scratchy and smells like dirt. You can feel Cal's big hands on your shoulders. I'm going to spin you around, and when I let go, you're going to listen to my instructions. We gotta walk all the way to the cafeteria, okay? Noted, Skyline, thank you. You nod. You can't see Cal's grin, but you can hear it in his voice as he spins you around and counts to 10. 1, 2, 3. First, Cal says, you gotta walk forward 10 steps. Do you follow Cal's instructions as best as you can, or make things difficult for him? You take 10 large steps, feeling the squelch of dirt under your shoes as you walk into the garden beds. Fish, Cal cries out. You're gonna get me in trouble, you shrug. Okay, next you're gonna turn a little bit to the right. You turn a lot of it to the right. No, Cal gasps, but he's definitely laughing now. Come on, Fish, I said a little bit. You tilt your head to the side like you're listening, then spread your arms wide and spin around in circles while Cal howls with laughter. Cal, Fish, a sharp voice cuts through the garden. Oh, dip, it's your mom. What's gotten into you, she scolds, as you sheepishly take off the blindfold. Get out of the garden beds this instant, child, or you will be in so much trouble. Cal looks gutted. I'm sorry, Auntie, he says, staring at the ground. I was trying to teach Fish how to play a new game, but I didn't do it good. Are you going to let him take the fall for you? No. You tell your mom it was your fault. She raises her eyebrow at you. I know, Fish. You're the one I caught trampling the turnips. Both of you get out of here for the rest of the day and no more games in the garden. Cal squeaks as he grabs your hand as you run out of the garden, away from your mom, grousing about broken plants. When you're far enough away, he turns to you and bursts into giggles. That was wild, he shouts. Thanks, Fish. I really want your mom to like me and let me help out in the garden more. It's my favorite place in the whole colony. You got it, bud. I'll put in a good word for you. Off to school to learn more biology facts. You're paired with Tangent for an interactive biology experiment, a particularly slimy one. She's relieved when you offer to do the hands-on portion of the study and let her take notes on her holopalm. She would. 1, 2, 4, maybe? That'll do. I need to figure out when Cal's birth month is. Oh, I need to rest. Oops. I am very grumpy. Yeah, we're just gonna go over here. Relax in the lounge. Your parents must be some of the busiest adults in the colony. You hardly ever see them unless you visit them in geoponics. Often in the lounge, you watch Tammy cuddled up with her dad, watching a holovid together, and Cal chatting with his mother or one of her partners, and Mars showing off for her two dads. It makes you feel a little lonely. How sad. You're finishing breakfast in the common area when Mirazapan struts in. Look at you, eating cereal, she says, turning her nose up at you. I'll bet you don't even know what day it is today. It's Valentine's Day. No, you dummy, Mars starts, then pauses, gives you a suspicious look. Wait, what did you say? Well, anyway, today, she announces to the room, is St. Valentine's Day. Dis and Tammy wander over to hear more. Back on Earth, Mars explains, it was a day when everybody had to give their best friend a gift, especially sweets. And then you put all the sweets under your pillow, and it makes you dream about who you're going to marry. And there are decorations of hearts and arrows and pigs. Tammy cocks her head. Why pigs? Before Mars can answer, Dis snorts. This is dumb. Mirazapan just made it up to get free candy. He rolls his eyes and walks away. As he leaves, Mars shouts at his back, well, nobody was going to pick you anyway, you stink. Valentine's Day sounds like fun. Tammy nods enthusiastically. Her hair bobs jingling. I'm going to tell all the other kids about it, Mars says. So you go around and find your best friend and give them a gift. She points her finger at you. Make sure you do it by the end of the day or it doesn't count. And if too many people want to be my best friend, she adds, I'll hold tryouts for the position. It's only fair. She tosses her hair over her shoulder and laughs. Tangent is waving her hands vigorously in the air. She's playing a study game on her holopalm where you have to match falling numbers into correct equations. She barely notices you come up. Logically, we should be friends. You lay out the reasoning, strength in numbers, deal-making as the foundation for human society, and so on. Tang pauses the game, her eyes focus on you. Best friends? That sounds so childish, but I suppose us smart kids should stick together. And it will make Mars stop asking me if I've chosen a best friend yet. She goes back to her game. I accept your proposal. This sits before a collection of rocks grouped by color and texture. As you watch, he takes another rock from his pockets and stacks it with his kin. He looks up at you. What? He says flatly. You've never seen rocks before? This kid, man. Yep. Nothing new there. Nothing new there. Yo, Cal, you want to hear a nature fact? Cal is kneeling in the dirt, carefully planting species of potato. When I was a kid, I thought everything grew from chopped up pieces of bigger things. I mean, that's how it works for potatoes and onions. He sits on his heels, a funny look on his face. I guess I must have never thought about how babies are made, huh? Oh, wow. You want to hear a fun nature fact? You recently overheard the children learning how to count by studying hop-eyes. Hop-eyes have 1 foot and 2 tail forks and 3 stomachs and 4 eyes. And if you see 5 of them together, that's lucky, Cal laughs, finishing the mnemonic with you. Wait, how did they find out that hop-eyes have 3 stomachs? I don't want to know. Hi, Mars. Mars is in a huff. Ah, because you didn't pick her for Valentine's Day? Seems like nobody picked her. She crosses her arms and scowls at you. You chose Tang over me? She doesn't even like people. What are you going to do, be study buddies? Boring. Whatever, Mars mutters, tossing her hair. I'm just too mature for kids my age. The older kids get me, even if you don't. Okay, boo. Whatever you say. To school. Engineering, please. It's field trip day. You and your class visit the engine room to study how the ship works and how it continues to power everything in the colony. Congruence joins you. If you want to know anything about how the ships work, she's your woman. Well, not woman exactly, but, well, she's just very smart. Hello and welcome, children, Congruence chirps. You're standing in the beating heart of the colony. Our ship's nuclear reactors. Don't worry, you're safely shielded from any radiation. My sensors are very sensitive. The power contained in these reactors is enough to sustain the colony for the next 20 years, Congruence explains. This should be more than enough time for us to develop an eco-friendly power source, such as wind, water, or solar power. 2 duplicates when drawn. Goofing off. You pay close attention to Congruence as she explains how the Stratospheric was salvaged by the Vertumna group and fitted with artificial intelligence, Congruence herself, to guide you through the wormhole. The Stratospheric was originally built as a vanity project of one of the very richest people on Earth, she explains, but it was never launched and eventually donated to a museum. The Vertumna group pooled their resources to acquire the ship, she continues. Funding the retrofit as a colony vessel required contributions from many people, most of whom could not join us for the journey. They are honored by the cryopreserved embryos we carried with us to the stars. The what's it nows? Cryopreserved embryos, Congruence repeats. Donated by those who helped fund our colony. Though they are not here with us, may their legacy continue with us. As you blank look, Congruence laughs. Perhaps this is a topic better suited to life sciences, or, if you require further information, through independent study with the chief steward antecedent, or chief engineer instance. What about gene tech and nanoprinters? You point out that there is a lot of technology aboard the Stratospheric for a plucky little spacefaring colony. Where did it all come from, anyway? Congruence just smiles. That technology was acquired for the betterment of humanity, she replies. Do not concern yourself with the specifics. Oh, but I'm concerned, Congruence. What? What happens if you break down? Well, hopefully that won't happen for quite some time, Congruence replies. Barring something physically incapacitating me, such as a massive power failure or a concerted attempt to destroy me. I am naturally self-repairing and resistant to attempts to manipulate or infect me with viruses. She smiles. Don't worry about me, children. I'll likely be here to teach your great-great-great-grandchildren. Wonderful work, everyone. You all paid attention very well today. That will make this pop quiz much easier for you. Congruence's hollow projection erupts into fireworks at the words pop quiz, and the class groans in unison. Congruence laughs over the speakers. Just kidding, she chirps, echoing through the engine room. You are free to go. Oh, dang. Yeah, we'll just take the win on that. New perk! +1 to all mental cards. Woohoo! Hi, Dad. Dust is such a dry, hot season. Both suns are high in the sky, baking the usually lush Vertumnum jungle. If there's a breeze, it's warm, and you guessed it, dusty. Your parents are up every day before dawn, which comes far too early for your liking. They're usually gone by the time you wake up and home after you're asleep, so you have to visit them at work if you want to see them. Good morning, Gooseberry, your dad greets you cheerily. Have you come to see the harvest? Your mom and I are gathering crops from actual Vertumnum dirt this week. Sure, that sounds neat. He shows you around the rows of corn and beans from Earth. They all look a little yellow and scraggly, not what you'd expected, but your dad enthusiastically points out the vegetables are ready for harvest. Don't forget, he tells you, the Vertumnalia Festival is coming up. There will be a talent show and a science fair. I'm sure you're eager to participate, Fish. I found a flower. Woohoo! Cal is kicking a ball against the garden fence post, cheering when it bounces back toward him. Ever since we landed here, I don't play a lot of sports ball, he says, picking up the ball and tucking it under his arm. Anemone and I used to play a lot, but honestly, I think I like working in the garden more, he smiles up at the sky. I just like doing stuff that feels like it makes a difference, you know? I don't want to just play all the time like Anemone. Why don't we help out Tammy with babysitting today? I think I'm gonna do that. Hello, Fish, Antecedent greets you. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so happy you've come back to help. You know this place well. The creche. Part preschool, part all-day daycare. You practically grew up here, cared for communally while your parents worked their shifts. A few kids even live in the creche full-time. In a way, Antecedent, aka Anne, aka Antecedent, is every kid's mom. The smell of craft glue, clean blankets, gives you a calming sense memory of all the happy times you spent here with your with your friends. Tammy is here too. One of the toddlers conked out against her chest. She looks comically petite carrying such a large kiddo, but she seems at ease here in a way you don't usually see. You're going to babysit too? She asks, in an excited stage whisper. You'll love it. Suddenly, a bundle of wild hair in pink overalls runs straight into you, nearly knocking you over. Almost more kitten than kid. The child grabs your leg and stares up at you with unblinking green eyes. Watch that one, Antecedent warns. You remember Nougat? She's turning out to be quite the handful. Why don't you start out by getting her to go down for her nap? We will play a game. Sports ball, she shouts, and pulls an extra bouncy inflatable ball from a cubbyhole. You show Nougat how to balance it on your head and bounce it gently up and down. Of course, when she tries, she bops it with such force that it flies across the room. She chases after it, clapping excitedly. Nougat makes a beeline for some of the older kids, who are playing with a Create-O-Bot. She charges in to pick up the bot and hug it, causing it to flail and whirl and knock both her and itself over. By the time you get to the scene of the crime, there are tears, and the other kids are upset about their broken bot. The communication attracts the attention of Antecedent, who swoops in with hugs and tissues. Within minutes, she has it under control. Whoops, she says, hauling Nougat up onto her hip with ease. Just a little mix-up. Don't worry, everyone. Fish will get that bot fixed in a jiffy. She winks at you with a warm smile. I have to fix a child's bot. 0, 4, 3, 2, 0, 0, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. It's time once more for Vertumnalia. The mood of the colony has been muted this year, ever since the attack during Glow, though everything is still cheerfully decorated and the feast table is still heavy with food, mostly soy rations. This Vertumnalia just feels different, in a way you can't describe. The colonists gather in the square for Governor Eudicott's speech. What a year Vertumna has given us, the governor begins in her reedy voice. I stand before you so proud of everything the colony has accomplished in such a short time. I have always hoped that we would bring with us the best facets of humanity: cooperation, resilience, and creativity, and the events of this year have given me no reason to doubt my convictions. These creatures were unexpected, but I urge everyone to consider what it means for life here. If Vertumna can sustain megafauna, then that means conditions are good for us as well. Our friends in geoponics are already working on the logistics of domesticating the wildlife. Your dad, as second cultivator, stands and gives a sheepish wave to the crowd. There is a smattering of applause. Mars elbows you. Hey, she whispers. Did you hear? My dad says Eudicott's gonna announce the depot's open to the public. You shoot her a questioning look, and she rolls her eyes. You know, shopping? Somewhere to spend all the kudos we've been saving up? There's gonna be candy and toys and makeup and nice-smelling soap, not like the boring kind, the communal showers. You know the concept of shopping. They do it in the holovids from Earth, especially the ones Mars likes, but you've never actually done it. The colony provides everything you need, but it would be nice to buy yourself a treat. My dad's give me an allowance, Mars says, shooting you a look of pity. It's too bad your parents make you work for yours. You and Mars tune back to the beaches just as Eudicott, as predicted, announces the opening of the general store at the depot. Mars gives you a knowing look as she claps. Eudicott gestures for the council members to stand. Finally, the council remains unchanged from last year. We are, as always, proud to serve you and the colony as your government. The music starts up as Governor Eudicott finishes. Thank you all for your hard work and your perseverance this year, she says, over the ruckus. Together, we build the future. The crowd disperses and sets up for the annual Vertumnalia Games. Just like last year, there's a talent show, a science fair, and bot wrestling, now with an obstacle course. Which one do you participate in this year? Science fair, please. Your competitor for the science fair is predictably Tangent. Her project is on the tensile strength of various building materials, concluding that mushwood is the best choice when you consider not just strength but also sustainability and ease of use. Tammy flakes out on this year as her actual project. Tammy flakes out this year on her actual project, but her booth is nicely decorated. She spent so long on the decorations that she didn't have time to do an experiment. The judges want to know what you've been working on. Present my project. That is better. We'll just go that. 2, 2, 4, 4. 2, 2, 4, 4. Woohoo! In secret, you've been working on a social experiment about delayed gratification. You've been sneakily studying the adults, taking notes on their snacking habits and their mood. You found that Seek and Dr. Instance rarely eat sweets, but Utopia and Antecedent do all the time. You correlate this with their attention span when you see them tackle frustrating problems. You know problems you can control and repeat, like if a child backtalks to them. The judges are impressed with your methodology. Instance, perhaps, a little begrudgingly. They award you first place. After the festivities are over, everyone takes time off for a much-needed break. Mars organizes a water fight that takes over the whole colony, even the adults. It brightens everyone's spirits, even in the thick heat of dust. You end up on top of the western wall with this, launching water, filled puff shrooms down on an unsuspecting anemone in the sports ball court below. The walls seem like a neat place to hang out and relax, much quieter than the lounge, if you're looking for some solitude. Now I can relax on the walls. Mid-dust. Mars is leaning over a holoscreen, chin in hand. She exhales and blows a piece of her hair out of her eyes. I hate schoolwork, she says, but my dad's told me that a good education is necessary for all people of culture, so I guess I gotta do it. She scrolls listlessly through her work with one finger. I'm doing the science parts last, though. Dis wipes his eyes and hides his face as you approach. Go away, he sniffles. Just want to be left alone. Why won't people just leave me alone? I don't want to be part of this stupid colony. Poor kid. You do some work with a construction crew this week, observing how they use congruence and their holoprojectors to plan, build, and repair the colony. The foreman walks you through all the projections, literally, and points out various architectural details applied to life on Vertumna, like canopies over the windows to keep the temperature down. It's really neat to learn how architecture can address all of these environmental concerns, so you don't have to rely on resource hogging like life support systems. Nothing new from anybody, so we're gonna get the engineering up to its marker and then the biology up to its marker. To further your engineering knowledge, you are taking a mini-class with Chief Engineer Instance on the construction and maintenance of your holopalms. These devices are engineered bismuth crystals embedded in your palms when you start school. They use the heat and electric current of the human body to power themselves, to talk to each other, and connect to the HoloNet. Congruence's massive repository of information. You can barely remember life before yours. Holopalms were commonplace by the time the Vatumna group first formed on Earth, and the square bismuth is grown in the lab, Instance explains. So the physical device itself isn't hard to maintain. The difficulty is in the display and touch interface. Instance opens her holopalm, displaying visible projected screen floating above her palm. As chief engineer, she also has one of the fancier versions that combines with a pair of eyeglasses to superimpose a projection right onto what she sees. The interface relies on plasma voxel generators, which require extremely small components that are impossible to nanoprint. The material will have to be mined from Vatumna itself. Tang raises her hand. Is it possible to hack these devices? She asks. If the biological electronic interface is so thin, is it possible to hack the human body? In a way, we've already begun to hack the human body, Instance replies. What do you call gene tech? Everything the body does and is capable of depends on 4 nucleobases in different configurations. It's no different than congruence. Human and artificial intelligence are both built from a limited code, and are transformed into more by the building. Your genetic enhancements, superhearing and sight temperature regulation, increased resistance to fear, disease, and fatigue, all present in the human genome and unlocked by the power of science. The class splits into working groups to explore installing modules onto your holopalm. You and Tangent are in a group together. She begins installing a mod that will let her scan inorganic materials and get a reading of their chemical compositions. What do you do? I'm going to try and download my own mod. What module do you choose? A nonogram puzzle game? Something to help find lost objects? A radar speed gun? Or a bacteria sniffing sensor? Ding! A portion of Congruence's immense and miraculous intelligence will now be dedicated to making sure you never lose your canteen or your sunglasses. Isn't technology great? There we go. That's the good stuff. Anything new for me anywhere? Hello, potato. Here's a fruit. Hi, Mars. Alright, back to school for me. This game does get a little bit faster paced as you grow up a little bit. Engineering one more time, I think. You help the younger students with their architecture work. and by that you mean you help them scavenge a bag of random spare parts and adhesives from around the colony, and challenge them to make the tallest structure possible. When that's predictably a disaster, you tell them to make the most structurally sound one instead. Early wet to mid-wet. Nothing new. Alright, I'll do one more engineering. I want that little white line. So much math. It's everywhere. Physics is math, computers run on math, electricity, mechanical engineering, chemistry, and anything to do with space, math. Behind everything is some equation or other, to calculate how to turn one thing into something else, or to tell how efficient something is. They should have called this whole branch of science matheneering. Bingo. Late wet. Draw an extra card at the start of challenges. Woohoo! Anything new? I don't think so. Okay. Biology, please. You ask a question in class and are embarrassed when everybody laughs. You guess it was something you were supposed to know? You thought Professor Howell said there were no dumb questions. Making fun of me. That'll do. There is a commotion in the square. An expeditions vehicle has driven through the gates and is idling in the middle of the square. An unusual sight. People come down from command to investigate. Utopia gets out of the vehicle and trudges over to Uticott. After a brief conversation, you see Uticott gesture for people to unload the vehicle and clear the area. You stay out of the way to see what they're unloading. It's a body. Chief Surveyor Tonan's body. Someone quickly covers him with a sheet, not before the image of his torn open body is seared into your memory. However he died, it was violent and bloody. You feel your stomach cramp with nausea. What happened? Dis asks, coming over to crouch around the corner. Coming over to crouch around the corner with you. You share that Uncle Tonan is dead, and he stares at the sheet-covered body intensely, as if he could see through it. Did they say how? They'll never tell us the truth anyway. Nobody will tell the kids what really happened. Did something eat him? Did he get lost or fall off a cliff? Do they even know? Dis nods, frowning. They don't want us to know about the monsters and other worse stuff. They want us to think everything is fine, but it's not. This planet isn't as nice as they say it is. He shakes his head. They hate that they can't control us. You and Dis watch the adults carry Uncle Tonan's body away. From the way he's practically vibrating, you can tell Dis wants to ask more questions about what happened. After a few awkward minutes, he sneaks away without saying anything, probably to try and go take a look at the body. Someone's going to have to tell Tammy. You're glad it's not you. Tammy and her dad were really close. Now she's an orphan. You watch Utopia bend over to get a hug from Uticott, wiping her eyes as she finally cries. Uticott has never been the most comforting presence in your life, but it seems to help. Utopia will probably be the next chief surveyor. At 24, she'll be the youngest council member. She was only a toddler when the stratosphere left her. Apparently her sharp eye and hoverbike flying skills are the best in expeditions. Tammy, my sweet, my love. It is glow, so I cannot check on you. Anemone flashes her headlamp at you as you approach. Did you ever learn Morse code? She says, giggling. Com says if I spell out a bad word, my headlamp is gonna break clean off. That's cute. Hi, Mom. Your mom gives you a stern look. Be careful, she warns you. Now that we know for a fact it isn't safe out there during glow, I won't have you venturing close to the walls. Stay where I can see you, close to the ship. What do I need for that? Organizing? We're gonna do another biology lesson, I think is what we're gonna do. Professor Hal looks almost apologetic. It's important to check on how you're all doing with the material, he explains. So we're having a pop quiz on what we've been covering this month, Earth's ecosystem, and the climate crash of the late 21st century. This should be easy so long as you've been paying attention. You and the other students exchange looks of horror. A pop quiz? Two people look unfazed. Tang and Cal. Both are sitting near enough that you could probably ask them for help before the quiz begins. Tang rolls her eyes, but obligingly rattles off a few facts about the late 21st century while the other students prepare for the quiz. You're not sure if it'll help, but maybe something will stick. Got a bunch of twos. And a nice set of threes and fours. And a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 6. I am super smart. You did well. You just tried to imagine the most destructive things humankind could do to the planet, and that was usually the answer, no matter how far-fetched. Deserts growing, terrible storms, sea level rising, species becoming extinct. Whoa, scary. Cal and Tang looked happy with their scores too. As you file out of class, you catch up with Tang and share your thoughts about what you've been learning in class. Earth humans had space travel, gene tech. Shouldn't they have been able to fix the planet? Isn't science the solution to everything? Tang scoffs. Not even science can help people who don't believe in it, she says. Even if the solution is obvious to anyone with half a brain, if the people in charge don't do what needs to be done, what's the point? She stomps away, clearly frustrated by the subject. 1 second, chat. Okay. It's been a quiet glow, but the grim, surreal darkness of the season reminds you of last year's violence. As the month wears on, you overhear arguments at dinner. Adults worrying that an attack is still coming, and others who think the first one was a fluke. Surveyors mention seeing new tracks in the forest, but are shushed so people don't panic. The gates are closed. You drill emergency procedures, filing soundlessly from the classroom to the creche to hide under tables, waiting for the sirens to call the all clear. You drill and prepare and worry, but nothing happens. Then, just as glow is starting to wane, the toxic purple spill of the wormhole fading as the sun almost rises past the horizon again, the sirens start. You're reading a holonovel in bed when you hear them, followed by the stomp of boots down the hallway outside your quarters. An alert flashes on your holopalm. Shelter in the creche, this is not a drill. You get another message from your dad. Me and Mom are going to stay in the greenhouses. We're safe. Just follow Auntie Anne back to the creche and wait for us, okay? Don't worry, we're way more prepared than we were last year. Love you, stay safe. You could go to the creche where you belong, or you could follow the security guards and see what happens at the gates. Just as you peek your head out the door, you are struck by a horrible premonition. Someone's in danger, in engineering. You blink and shake your head, but the feeling persists. Go to the creche. You don't know what compels you to go to engineering. It's nowhere near the walls, and the corridors are quiet as you approach. You burst into the classroom to find Professor Hal, cornered by a small, chittering thing. It's moving too fast to tell what it is. Every time Hal tries to get around it to flee, it climbs up the walls and keeps jumping at him. He's fending it off with a tablet, but he's getting tired. As you watch, the thing leaps at its throat and tears a chunk out of him. Hal screams in pain and crumples to the ground. You must gasp because the thing turns to you and lunges. Oh boy, this is awful. We're gonna beat it with smarts. 47. Oh no. What do I have up here? Okay, that'll help. So let's do this. Let's do... Oops. Yeah. Okay. Next round. That's the best I can get there. 22 points. Card becomes a 2. I can do that one, that one, that one, and that one. Oh, thank God. I beat it with smarts. It's impossible to hit the thing. It's so fast, it's like a smear at the edge of your vision. What you do manage to do, though, is lure it outside of the classroom and get Congruence to slam the door shut. You hear it beating against the door as you run to Hal's side. Congruence guides you through how to hold pressure to Hal's throat to stop the bleeding. But stars, there's blood everywhere. Eventually the doors open, and Chief Engineer Instance runs in, directing some of the security team to load Hal into a stretcher and take him to the med bay. There's no sign of the creature. She surveys the carnage. Good work, Fish, she says grimly. You might have just saved Hal's life. Her shoulders droop. They must have crawled over the walls. Buggers. You return to your quarters. Your parents are horrified to see you covered in blood, relieved when you say it isn't yours. Then horrified all over again when you tell them about Professor Hal. Your dad checks his holopalm and tells you they got him to a medbay quickly enough, and that his injury should heal in a few weeks. You saved Professor Hal's life. Woohoo! Only death so far is Tonan's, and I don't know how he died yet. Gained some friendship with Tangent, Cal, Tammy, and lost some with Mars. Oops. Starting age 12 and need a rest. You don't see Anemone. She sees you first. Tag, she exclaims, pouncing on you from behind. You're it! So nice to see them all happy. Don't, Tang says, as you open your mouth to speak. She holds up one scolding finger. I'm about to make a breakthrough. Do not interrupt me unless it's serious. Yeah, but do you want to study? You offer to help Tangent with her schoolwork, but she just shrugs you off. I'm not working on school anymore, she says. Chief Engineer Instant says I'm smart for my age, and my talents are wasted in school. She opens her holopalm and shows you some of her lab notes. Ugh, it's so much work, though, she complains. Honestly, maybe it would be better to be like everyone else, unintelligent. People seem happier. Just then, Anemone and Nougat go tearing by with a sports ball, hollering at the top of their lungs. Tang shudders. On second thought, I forget I said that. I'll keep being smart, thank you. You can hear Dis sniffling, finding him tucked into a leeward alcove of the walls. He stumbles to his feet when he sees you approach. What do you want? He scowls. Did Mars send you? Tang? I'm not going back. I'm just not going to do what people tell me. Live your life, kid. You do you. How are you holding up? You step cautiously through the colony gates. Fish! How's it going, little Sib? Hey, Holy. Thank you. Chief Surveyor Utopia steps casually out to bar your way while making it look accidental. Whoa there. I don't know if you're ready to head out there and join the surveyors just yet. Why don't you skedaddle and stick to sports ball inside the walls for now? She rubs her knuckles to your scalp and sends you on your way. Nothing new. Cal is sitting on the garden fence, his feet tucked into the slats, tapping away at his holoscreen. School's way more interesting when you can actually see how it matters, he says. Your mom says I can do more important stuff on the farm if I learn about crop rotation and stuff. He frowns at his holoscreen. But there's more math than I thought there'd be. If your mom already said no, I agree with her, your dad says, without looking up from his work. I know you two disagree about things, but she's still your mom. I like my mom. Your dad used to joke that your mom got her prosthetic leg so she could run faster than everyone else before you had gene tech. You don't think that's true. You guess she lost it in some kind of fight, but she barely ever talks about it. Except for days like today, when she's stumbling around like one leg is shorter than the other. Stupid thing, she grumbles. When am I going to have time to get this damn thing fitted right? Need more organizing to talk to Mom. Tammy has barely left the lounge since her father died. You often see her solemn face in the windows, peering out at the colony like a ghost. She hardly talks to anyone unless they talk to her first. Go talk to her first. Tammy looks up from the sewing she's aimlessly fiddling with. She gives you a watery smile. It's clear she's been crying. Hello, Fish, she says, wiping her face. Is everything okay? Typical Tammy. Even in her saddest moments, she wants to know how she can help you. Are you okay? Tammy looks out the window and shrugs. I guess, she says. Antecedent tells me it's okay to be sad, but I'm really sad. Just, all the time. I'm sorry I'm such a downer. With that, Tammy starts to cry again. Her whole body curls up as she sobs, trying to hide her face in her hands so she doesn't upset anyone in the lounge. I miss him too. You admit that you feel the same way, that you miss him terribly, and that sometimes all you want to do is cry too. She holds her arms out, and you both cling to each other as you have a really good cry, letting out all of your pain and grief and sharing in each other's loss. It helps just to sit in your feelings for a little while. Uncle Tonin may be gone, but your friend Tammy is still here. Yeah, because I saved her butt. Okay, I think... Let's see if Mars has anything to say. Fish, come over here, Mars demands. When you do, she slings her arm across your shoulders and raises her hollow palm to take a picture. Look cool, she instructs you. I need to take a selfie with someone every day or I lose my streak. She presses her cheek against yours and purses her lips. The picture turns out okay. Mars slaps the filter on it and posts it to the colony message board. Ooh. A thing. Okay, time for some biology. Oh. Right. Hal is injured. I cannot do that yet. So, let's go get some organizing, maybe. View the supply depot. Cake. +5 animals, +1 to all flushes. Oh, I need to rest. Lol, that's why. Let's go rest on the walls. After the first attack on the colony, they added lookout towers to the walls. Now you have a place to hang out if you don't feel like working. And because it's all the way up here, no adults are going to come ask you to run any errands for them. On rainy days, you take shelter under the pavilions and listen to the pitter-patter of warm raindrops on the grass roof. You can do whatever you want. Ah, this is the life. This is a good place to study. You pack your holoculars. The wall is a great vantage point to examine the wild jungle outside the colony. Your independent study even counts towards class credits without having to actually be in class. Oh, hey Fish. Dis pops his head up from a nearby ladder and looks surprised to see someone else here. Do you mind if I sit here too? Sure, there's plenty of room. The two of you dangle your feet off the side and watch the valley below. Dis shuffles a little uncomfortably and doesn't say much. You wonder if this was his private spot to be alone before you discovered it. You've been having weird dreams as usual. They seem to get worse around glow. You wake from a dream that has tears drying on your face, though you can't remember why, just that you were terrified. Whatever it was, it felt real enough that for a moment you just lie in bed with your eyes closed and try to calm your breathing. You blearily rub your eyes and... Surprise! Oh, it's your birthday. Your dad leaps onto your bed and gives you a big cuddle. Happy birthday, little tomato head. 12 years old. Wow, can you believe it? No, your mom answers for you, laughing as she hands you your presents. It was just yesterday Antecedent was showing me how to change your diapers. Because it's your birthday, your parents have brought in food from the canteen so you can all eat together on your bed. As you stuff your face with savory tofu chunks, you open your presents. Which one is your favorite? A bouquet of exotic flowers from your mom, a stuffed xenofauna from your dad, or a photophoner from your best friend. They're exotic because they came from Earth. I saved these seeds in cold storage for over 20 years just for this day, your mom says proudly. These are the first Earth flowers to bloom on Vertumna. White astrantia. She pinches your cheek. They're special, just like you. As your dad clears away the wrapping paper and the dishes from breakfast, your mom folds her hands on the table and gives you a serious look. Uh-oh. So, she says, we've been here 2 years now. I know your dad and I have always said you're in charge of your schedule, but we've been keeping an eye on you. A loving eye, your dad interjects, stuffing wrapping paper into the recycler pickup bin. A trusting, gentle eye. Professor Hal tells us you're trying hard in school, your mom continues. That's great. Your dad and I are really proud of you. Working might seem fun and grown up when you're a kid, but if you want to do more than manual labor, you'll need some book smarts too. Your dad joins you again. So, it's time to start thinking about how you're going to contribute to the colony when you're older. At the look on your face, he laughs. Don't worry, we're not going to make you get a job right now. We're just asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? I have to decide right now? Of course not, sweetie, your dad says, hugging you. It's okay to not know yet, and it's okay to change your mind later. We didn't know what we wanted. We didn't know we wanted to be off-world farmers when we were 12. Of course. Sometimes you just figure it out as you go. Well, your mom starts to get up. I'm sure your friends all want to wish you a happy birthday. She stops and snaps her fingers. Oh, you might not have considered a career as a depot clerk, but Al and Bernie mentioned their daughter Mars is working there, and she needs some help. Now that the people can freely order luxuries, it's pretty busy there. Sure beats shoveling dirt, your dad laughs. If you don't take that job, you tell Mars I'll be right there. Your mom rolls her eyes and smiles. Maybe I'll get a job. We'll see. A job? For me? I'm only 12. Tang is craning her head, looking around what she can see of the colony from the laboratory doors. Have you seen my brother? She asks. He stormed out of class today, again. She pinches the bridge of her nose. All I did was point out that he consistently makes the same mathematical error and offer a mnemonic to aid his memory in the future. I don't see how I'm the monster here. You approach Anemone just as she's about to bite into a sandwich the size of her head. Mom says I'm about to hit a growth spurt, she says, chewing with her mouth open. She says I got a hollow leg. Dis almost completely ignores you in favor of playing a game on his holopad. Just one, he mutters, then cusses and stomps his feet as the game lets out a cheery whistle of defeat. Stupid game, Dis hisses. He looks like he'd throw the game away if it wasn't literally attached to his hand. Cal is standing in the middle of the garden, spraying the crops down with a hose. As you watch, he leans down and drinks straight from the nozzle. Oh hey, he says, standing up, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. What's up? Is that an alien egg? Cal exclaims. Wow! I wonder what's inside it. If it's still warm, maybe we can hatch it. He lifts it up and scrutinizes it. Anemone's always talking about wanting to eat a big old alien egg, he says. If this one's not fertilized, I'll give it to her. Oh, hey, fish, Maya says, breezing past you. I'm sorry, I can't talk now. I'm on my way to work in command. She stops when you don't sound amazed, though. You know, the supply depot, she clarified. It's the most important job in the whole colony. Anything that gets made here goes through me first. Mars' smug smile gets somehow even more smug. Plus, I get first pick of all the best stuff. Wow, that's amazing. You lay it on really thick. How Mars is just so cool, how everything she does is totally great, and how she's obviously the most important person in the colony. You're going to start a Mars fan club for her honor. She just laughs. Nice try, fish, but thanks for the compliments. Then she just leaves, without even offering to help get you a job. Drat. Sucking up to Mars didn't work. What's next? Having to actually ask for what you want? Ugh. Maybe you can ask again later. I don't want that job. I want to be a smart bean. Biology, please. Fish, can you come see me in class? Professor Hal pulls you aside in the hall, congruent sliding along beside him. You follow him cautiously. Don't worry, he smiles. You're not in trouble. Far from it, in fact. He grabs your hand and shakes it firmly. I never thanked you for saving my life, he chuckles. Professor Hal and I are very grateful for your bravery, Congruent says. Though you should have been in the crash. Just this once, it's good you disobeyed orders. Did they find the thing that attacked you? Ah, Hal looks unsure. No, but Congruence filled the engineering wing with sulfuryl fluoride for a few days. Fumigated the place, hopefully that got whatever it was. Hal winks. Good thing you were helping me in the classroom when the attack started, right? He laughs and leans back against his desk, inadvertently sitting on something that pops and gives off a shower of orchid-smelling sparks. Whoops, he says, leaping away from his desk. Danger lurks everywhere. Fish, keep your head on a swivel. Poor dude. We'll go 0 and 4, and then 3 and 5 and 6. Victorious. I am one smart cookie. I think this month we're going to help Tammy with some babysitting. Native botany. Unlock xenobotany research in geoponics. Cool. Hey, Cal. 40 or greater. What am I at? $36. Couple more biology classes and I can teach Cal a new science fact. It's time for your end-of-term project. You, Tang, and Cal are all ready to prove that you're capable scientists. Seeing as everyone works together in the colony, you're expected to come up with a project that the three of you can agree on. You can already tell that's going to be a problem. We should do a genetics experiment, insists Tang. I have access to the lab around the clock and I'm already in there every day. It'd be so simple to come up with an experiment for something I'm already working on, and efficient. It's the perfect choice. Cal considers. I don't know. Lab work is only half the picture, you know? I think we should go to geoponics for some hands-on biology. Emer is almost ready to give birth, and she had trouble during her last calving, he says. You think he's talking about a float cow? We should volunteer to monitor around the clock and document the process. Then we can help deliver the calf. Tang looks disgusted. Absolutely not, she sneers. I am not getting my hands all up in some float cow's guts just because you want to play farmer instead of scientist. She pokes her finger into Cal's chest. What are your data points? What's your hypothesis? Do you have a control group? Where's the science, Cal? You aren't better than others just because you work indoors, Cal snaps. It's so rare to see someone actually get under his skin. Everyone's about doing experiments. Observation is important too, so Tang scoffs. They both look at you. What do you want to do for your project? A report on animal husbandry. I'm glad you see things my way, Cal says. He has the look of someone who's trying not to be smug but isn't quite getting there. Sorry, Tang. Total of 59, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 4. 1, 3, 4, 6. bada boom. You spend a few days observing Mimer, the float cow, who is so huge and gravid that she can barely float at all. You're on watch when she goes into labor. You call Ten and Cal to the barn, then Cal gets in there and safely delivers the calf. And you mean he really gets in there, because the calf gets stuck at one point and Cal has to go in up to his shoulder. After that, it's gruesome and scary, but in the end, both Cal and calf are alive. After another week of veterinary care and close study, you wrap up your report. Hal smiles at you. Congratulations, you three. This is wonderful work. You do the colony proud. Don't forget, learning is a lifelong journey, he says. So feel free to audit this class whenever you'd like. Early poem. Hold this to your head now, my darling, you hear, as you enter the garden looking for Cal. It'll help with the swelling. Cal is sitting with his mother, Auntie Tyra, who kneels beside him holding an ice pack to his head. Cal's eyes are a little puffy. He rubs them and sniffs as you approach. Hello, fish, Tyra greets with a kind smile. Don't worry. Recalcitrance just took a tumble off of something he shouldn't have been climbing. Mom, Cal complains, it wasn't that bad. You gonna be okay? I'm okay, Cal reassures. I just bonked my head a little. Mom always knows how to make it better, he says, with a boyish smile. Even if I am old enough to take care of myself. My brave boy, Tyra says, stroking his hair. Thanks for humoring me. She looks over to you. Don't let him show off for you, fish. Ground-based feats of bravery only for the rest of the day. Cal whines and wrinkles his nose. Tyra laughs and wraps him in a big motherly hug, rocking him back and forth despite his protests. Cal's eyes close in happiness. He really loves his mom. That's so sweet. Nougat bites one of the other kids, but claims it was an accident and that their arm just got in the way of my mouth. You have a conversation with her about how teeth are not supposed to be used as weapons, no matter how tasty or in the way our friends look. Your dad comes back from work one day looking seriously under the weather. He's pale, with deep circles under his eyes, and he keeps sneezing. It's fine, he insists. It's just all this pollen in the air. It's gunking up the old air tubes. You remember hay fever, Flulu? We always got it back on Earth, too. Your mom frowns and crosses her arms. We did, she agrees. So why isn't it bothering me? You're a lot tougher than me, Sweet Pea, your dad says, and your mom rolls her eyes. I'm sure I just have to get used to it like you did, he continues. Maybe I'll go for a stroll outside the gates later, really get a good lungful of the stuff. I'll feel bad for a few weeks, but after that, I'll be fine. Your mom raises both eyebrows. Outside the gates? You? Your dad shrugs. Then he falls into a fit of sneezing and can't answer. Your mom directs him to go lie down in their bed. You need rest, not machismo, she scolds him. I don't have achoo. Your dad sneezes. A macho bone in my body, Foo-Foo. And I have to fertilize the corn and the pixie beans this week. Uh-huh, your mom grunts. Your dad pulls a handkerchief from his pocket and sneezes into it a few times. Big yelling honk sneezes that echo through your whole quarters. He pulls it away from his face and you can tell that something's wrong. Huh? Your dad says weakly, holding the handkerchief away from his face. It's bright fuchsia pink and glittering in the light. That's weird. Then his eyes roll back in his head, his knees buckle, and your mom yells for you to call Instance. Chief Engineer Instance takes your dad's vitals and gives him a cursory look over, but she seems satisfied with what she sees without having to do a thorough examination. The explorers have started calling this the shimmer, she says, shining a light down your dad's throat. He's looking a little better, but not much. It's an airborne environmental toxin likely in the pollen fog. Will he be okay? It doesn't seem to cause long-term damage to the body, Instance explains. She gestures in the air, making notes on her hollow eye that only she can see. I've been tracking its effects for 3 seasons now. The toxin is flushed out of the body after 3 to 5 days, and it's not contagious. She looks down at your father. What that means for you, Geranium, since you're particularly susceptible to the toxin, you should be taking better pains to avoid exposure. If you must go outside during pollen, use a respirator. Your dad smiles weakly. You got it, boss, he says. Your mom smiles and puts her hand over his. As your literal boss, I'm ordering you to not come into work for the rest of the week, she says. You're on strict bed rest. She leans in to touch her forehead to his. They stay like that, smiling with relief. Even after 1 day of bed rest, your dad is looking a lot better. He's clearly anxious to get back out into the fields. You're gonna love this new crop, Fish. It's called a pixie bean. They glow in the dark. He's already pulling on his boots. The fields look so beautiful at night. I'm happy that we finally found something that would actually grow here that isn't soy, and more soy. I'm happy too. Mid-pollen. Mars is primping in a hollow screen she set up to act as a mirror. You never know when someone important is going to talk to you, she says, twisting and retwisting her hair around her finger. And no, I don't mean important like the council. Yuck. She smiles primly at you. I mean, whoever is going to end up being my first kiss. I don't want them to remember that time they saw me when we were kids and I wasn't absolutely at my best. A mushlag. Tammy is sitting quietly in the lounge, seemingly not doing anything at all. As you approach, she looks up and dabs her eyes, sniffling a little. Oh, sorry, don't mind me, she says, putting on a brave smile. Sometimes I just, think about how much I miss my dad. Your hollow palm pulses with a message from Tang. Hello, Fish. If you're not occupied, could I ask for your assistance in the lab? Thank you in advance. Tangent. Typical Tang, but her asking for help is so rare that you can't help but head over right away. You find her hunched over a spectrometer, making notes on a holoscreen. Oh, you're here, she says, blinking rapidly. She looks like she's been awake for days, wrinkled, a little shiny, and with the wild-eyed look of someone who needs a cup of leaf tea. How can I help? I'm researching the shimmer, the respiratory illness some people report during pollen, she says. I loathe to admit it, but I need your assistance. She takes 4 vials with swabs inside them and puts them into your hands. I need recent saliva samples from both you and your father, she says. There must be a reason why he's so susceptible to the shimmer and you're not. You share half of your genetic code with him. There must be some marker we can compare between the 2 samples. Then, she continues, pulling another vial from a rack of test tubes. Administer this to yourself. Wait 3 days and take the samples again. The test should be able to determine if anything in your body has The test should be able to determine if anything in your body chemistry has changed. Tang looks at you very seriously, cutting through her bleary expression. There's something going on here, she whispers. Something really, really big. I've begun to realize this is about more than just curing a disease. She squeezes your hand so hard it almost hurts. Unlocking the secrets of shimmer, who it affects and why, it could lead to a greater understanding of all life on Vertumna. And knowledge. Knowledge is more than power, Fish. It's control. Are you okay? You seem unhinged. Tang blinks again. I'm perfectly fine, she says, dismissively. This is the face of complete concentration and focus. I'm in the zone, Fish. Okay, I'll do it. Thank you, Tang says. I've been researching so hard I think my eyes are going to fall out of my head. And for what? Well, for the end of a debilitating disease is pretty good reason. But Tang just shakes her head at herself before you can answer. We're at a disadvantage here, she mutters. We're fighting blind. We need to understand this planet if we're going to get it under our control. Our control, The sports ball goes sailing over your head. 4. Anemone giggles as she jogs up to you. That's what they used to say on Earth when a ball would go into the crowd. I like it. Not everyone in the colony is happy, Dis mutters, his arms wrapped around himself. Everyone acts like it because they don't want to sound ungrateful, but let's face it, it sucks here. I think that was everyone. Let's go help Tammy with some more babysitting. Most kids in the creche go home at the end of the workday to be with their parents, but some live there full time. Anne's triplets, for example, as well as orphans from the wormhole crash, and children whose parents have simply opted to have them raised communally instead. You've heard that orphanages on Earth could be troubled, but here in the creche everyone is cared for equally. They're lucky in a sense. In the creche, they have a huge family and so many siblings to play with. You and Tammy are putting 2 of these creche kids to bed. Tammy is cuddled up with one of them, reading a book out loud. Tonight's story, Tammy begins, is about a little vacuum bot named Litter. One night, Litter was charging. There was a power surge in her charging station. Zap! Tammy tickles the children for emphasis. And the next morning, when Litter woke up, well, instead of cleaning, she decided to go on a grand adventure. Tammy makes the story up as she goes. She has the Vacuum-Bot venture all the way out of her geoponics dome to the other side of the colony to meet her cousin bots in engineering. But everything goes wrong and little Vacuum-Bot gets scared and lost. After Captain Udicott saves her and brings her back to geoponics, the little Vacuum-Bot vows to never go exploring again and lives happily ever after. The 2 kids are sound asleep. The moral is to never have adventures. You're so great with kids. But, Tammy stammers, it's dangerous out there. I wouldn't want these 2 to sneak out of the colony and get hurt. That's why I like stories, she says, curling a lock of the sleeping child's hair around her finger. We can have adventures in our minds instead. Safe adventures. You're right. Children should stay safe. Phew, she sighs. I'm glad you understand. I hope you don't decide to sneak outside the walls either, Fish. I'd be very scared for you, just like I'm scared for Dis. Late pollen. Tammy is sitting on a little stool in the sun, reading a fairy tale picture book on her holopalm. She sighs. What is that book about? Well, it's a bunch of stories. She flips through the pages. but they're all about princes and princesses, and look, the princes are always the taller ones. I'm so big. I'm even taller than Cal is. How can he be my prince if I'm bigger than him? It's true. Tammy is the tallest kid you know. Taller than the boys, even Cal, who's a year older. You know she and Cal are close friends, but you never thought of him as her prince before. Being tall is awesome. You list off all the things you can think of. You can reach high things and hit rod spikes and sports balls, and you can see over people's heads in a crowd. Plus, you tell her, tall people give the most amazing hugs. She goes for the bait and gives you a big hug. Thanks, Fish. You're a good friend. The sound of hammering rings through the garden, and you find Cal helping your mom build a row of raised garden beds. Turns out, some of the earth plants don't grow so great here, so we're gonna see if this helps, he says, taking a break to rub his face. Your mom stifles a laugh at the smear of dirt it leaves across his cheeks. Your mom says we gotta worry about the nitrogen level soon, he continues. But that hopefully we'll be eating just plants that grow here before then. Let's get a little more empathy, I think. Babysitting. Actually, yeah. You almost lose one of the kids this month. After mobilizing the whole colony to look for them, you eventually find them playing in the drainage ditches that eventually lead outside the colony walls. You shudder to think of what would have happened if they had gotten outside. What is it with kids and storm drains? Barely got that one. I wanted my money. A random act of kindness. You start simple. You give Tammy an enormous hug, sharing the love. Tammy gets a lot of hugs, but you make sure this one feels special. She hugs you back, wiggling back and forth happily. She's surprisingly strong. Thanks, Fish, she says breathlessly as you squeeze the wind out of her a little. I really, really needed that. Oh, before you go, she adds, and produces a box with a slice of cake in it from the folds of her skirt. Do you want this cake? They're so fun to make, but I need someone to help me eat them. I'll make you another one on your birthday if you like, and we can trade hugs for cakes again. Anytime, Tammy. Tang eyes the colony walls distrustfully. If we're to make our home here, we must be better prepared for the fact that whatever was here first will attempt to drive us out. Who's to say the aliens are not at this very moment preparing a second attack? What? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I want a little bit more empathy. Do I want this though? Because this is... Yeah, we'll do this one once more. A stomach bug is going through the crush right now, and everyone is absolutely miserable. You and Tammy have both missed the worst of it, but Antecedent and a majority of the kids are taking it pretty rough. Tammy is cleaning up a vomit incident by the holo projector when you strip the affected kids and get them into the bath. You come out with a bundle of soiled clothes and trade off with Tammy, who gives you the mop and bucket to take back to the laundry room while she finishes up with the kids. After so long working together, especially during this latest crisis, you're getting pretty good at working as a team. Auntie Sedent pops her head in the creche to check in on you. There are broken capillaries under her eyes and greasy hair is up in a bonnet, but she still gives you a tired smile. Then her nose wrinkles at the lingering smell of vomit. You are a